get them trained by the best in the industry, get a drain cleaning certificate at the end of it. You can visit them at www.sewerinstitute.com. I am your co-host, Mike Sekach, and with me as always is Eric Boonstra. And our producer in the background, Emily Simmons, makes all the magic happen for us. Emily, thanks for being on with us today. Hey, before we jump into National Plumbers Day and episode 3, I want to take a few minutes just to recap episode 2 that we had last week with Elijah, Tony, and the crew at Sekach. So, Emily, I'm going to toss it over to you if you want to kind of recap episode 2.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, last week was awesome. We spent over an hour with Elijah live from Anderson, South Carolina, the Sekach Training Institute. And he gave us just a real in-depth look at the Revolution M1. We got to see how it's used for drain cleaning, some of the attachments. We saw him run it through a pipe. It's a really powerful machine in a small footprint. So it was really great to spend time with Elijah. And then he gave us just a quick overview of the rest of the line. So if you're new to flex shaft machines and the high-speed flex shaft drain cleaning, check out episode 2. We have started uploading all of our videos to YouTube, so you can see these after the fact over on YouTube. So you guys are going to make us YouTube famous.
Hey, listen, real quick, though. Special shout out to Chad Cardinal and his son. Those guys drove down from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan yesterday, left at 3 o'clock in the morning, blew my mind, showed up here to pick up their shiny new Soldier. Congrats to you guys. I hope you make a ton of money with that thing. But more importantly, they came in and they wanted to know about Sekach because they had seen it last week on episode 2. So shout out to the guys at Cardinal. We're glad you guys came down. We're glad you guys, we super appreciate your business. Hope you enjoy that Soldier, and we're looking forward to more from you guys.
Absolutely.
All right, Em, so you want to touch on National Plumbers Day real quick and our special guest for today, and then I can go ahead and introduce.
I can. I think you just want me to say happy National Plumbers Day. Did you guys get the stuff I sent you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's in the
My flowers, my candy. Yeah, no. So in honor of National Plumbers Day tomorrow, which is April 25th, we had a big introduction on social media this morning. Emily will continue to put some stuff out there. We have some big announcements for you guys. Eric and I are very proud licensed plumbers. We love this trade. We live it. We breathe it. So again, we're doing our part and trying to help you guys out, especially in this time of need, with offering some of the deepest discounts we've ever done before. So if you haven't checked your email, take a look at it. Emily should have sent that out this morning. It was about 9 o'clock. So, all right, with that, episode 3. Before I introduce Duane Goodpaster here, we have Duane Goodpaster from All Drains, Madison Township, Ohio, Middletown, Ohio. Duane has been a customer of ours for a long time. When I was a territory manager in the tri-state area here in Ohio, I covered Duane and his company. And it's, for me as a territory manager, I mean, it's just amazing to, see where Duane has come from and where his business is at today. I'm fortunate enough to be a plumber in the greater Cincinnati area. It's definitely a band of brotherhood and sisterhood here. We all get along. We all network. We all help each other out. And as far as a plumber, as far as a man, a family man, I mean, you don't find much better than Duane. So he's even got his own cover on Cleaner Magazine, January 2020. Spartan issue on the back of it. So with that, Duane Goodpaster, welcome to the show.
Hello, how's everybody going?
Duane, what is up?
Hey, how you guys doing? How's it going, Eric and Mike?
Good.
We'd be doing better if we were sitting in a nice man cave like that.
Yeah.
Forgot to mention that in the intro. Duane definitely has the baddest man cave around. That's for sure. I'll put that up against anybody. So Duane, it's good to have you on.
I appreciate that.
All right. Well, Duane, let's start with tell us a little bit about yourself.
You guys, my name's Duane Goodpaster here in Middletown, Ohio. Been in the plumbing and drain cleaning trade for 22 years now. Just really enjoy what I do. I like going out and helping people. Just couldn't ask for a better team to help us succeed every day and accomplish the things we have accomplished in the last 22 years.
Awesome. So everybody has a story. My career started with the Air Force, got me into the trade. So how did you get into the plumbing trade, Duane?
It was kind of just it's kind of a long story, but it was I had a previous career when I was younger. Just really wasn't happy in the field I was in. I had a couple friends that were working in the plumbing trade, kind of introduced me to it, and just kind of helped them a little bit, rode with them a little bit, and just kind of took off from there. Just once I got my feet wet, I really enjoyed the freedom of being out in a service vehicle and going from job to job, and just kind of escalated from there.
Cool. So out of your time in the trade, how many years of tell us a little bit about your business, how long you've been in business?
That's actually when I've probably been in the trade for 25. I've been in business for the 22.
Wow.
So I went to a local auction. I bought a old van for $400. Went down and had some magnets made, and made some business cards, and just went to work. Just tried to hustle up work with just any real estate companies, investors, just anybody that needed anything done that was local. Just I could be at a gas station, I'd be handing out cards, or just anybody that would give me 5 seconds to tell them what I do and who I am.
That's it. That elevator speech, right?
Yep.
Well, a gas station story. So Duane told me one time, Duane is that guy who's not afraid to invest in his business. That's one thing I definitely admire about you and your company, Duane. I mean, it seems like you guys are always kind of at the forefront of introducing, new products, especially to your customers. Duane actually bought one of our first vans and van pack units all the way back in how long was that? About 15 years ago, Duane? Maybe
Yeah.
in I think the wet show was in Nashville.
Yep.
And Duane bought a complete van system from us and a 758. He had since taken that 758 out of that truck. He put it on a utility trailer. And Duane, tell us a little bit about this. You told me a story where guys used to make fun of you because you were pulling a jet around constantly. But that's how you grew your business, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't and today I don't leave my shop without a Hydra Jetter hooked to my truck. It doesn't matter if I'm going out to give estimates. It doesn't matter if I'm going out to clean a kitchen sink drain. That jetter's with me, and chances are I use that jetter every single day. So just because if I leave at 8 o'clock in the morning and I don't have a jet job lined up, by the time I go home or back to the shop, I've done a couple jet jobs that day. So that just eliminates me driving back, hooking up to it, and having to tell the customer, "Hey, I'll be back." I'm prepared when I pull up to their house. I'm ready for anything.
Well, it's also a good conversation starter, especially you're the owner of a Spartan Warrior that's all covered. Kind of looks like a spaceship, right? Or maybe looks like a pop-up camper. So
Yep.
I can imagine when you pull off to a gas station or wherever you're at, I'm sure somebody asks you, exactly what that is.
You hit it right there. A lot of them say camper. I've heard a couple of them say it looks like a snowmobile trailer, like I got some kind of skis in there. But then that lets you start the conversation to tell them what it is and what it does. And there's been many times when I open up the back of it at a gas station to show whoever's interested in, what it is and what it does.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. So, again, you guys definitely a successful company here in the greater Cincinnati area. So COVID-19, let's touch on that for a minute. You know, we're all affected by this right now. So what have you and your service techs kind of experienced from COVID-19? You know, what things have you, kind of affected the business right now, if any?
Well, we started out by asking our customers if they've had any symptoms, and and then we was doing a credit card only thing at first, where we wanted to go in, not make a whole lot of contact with the customer, be able to do the job, take care of whatever problems they have, and then just do a credit card by phone, have Tana call in, or I could do it through my phone out in the truck, and then just email them an invoice. That just eliminates a little bit of the contact. But we've always been in a industry and business where we've had to be careful with the materials and the biohazards that we come in contact with every day. So not a whole lot's changed in the way that we keep ourselves safe, but we just take that extra step to keep our customers safe. If we go inside, if sometimes we'll wear a mask depending on what we're doing and what part of their house we're in. And, a lot of times if we're just outside, we just wear the gloves and stuff, normal stuff. I've always carried a huge bottle of hand sanitizer in my truck. I've always left a job cleaner than what it was when I got there. So a lot of that stuff hasn't really changed. Customers are nervous. Nobody wakes up wanting a plumber at their house anyway, especially now they don't know where I've been, what I've been doing. So we just, we try to reassure them that we're not going to cross contaminate whatever we did at the previous jobs. Our equipment's getting cleaned, and then, they're our top priority at that minute, that time of day.
Which I'm sure they appreciate. I mean, that's one thing Eric and I always preach kind of at the Institute, is the fact that nobody does want a plumber in their house. Nobody has a piggy bank for, a leaking water heater that morning. They're getting ready to go to work that morning, and all of a sudden they got no hot water. They go downstairs and there's water leaking all over the floor. I mean, it's the balloon factor, right? I mean, we have to kind of, get that air out of that balloon and kind of deflate the situation. So, I'm sure they appreciate all the necessary precautions you guys are taking. That's one thing that we talk about, daily with our territory managers and everybody employed at Spartan is the message that we're sending is assume that everybody has that at this point. Right. Practice social distancing, make sure we're taking care of ourselves, good hygiene practices, things like that. So, everybody's a little on edge right now, but, the good thing is we're an essential business. If it wasn't for plumbers, there wouldn't be a society today. So, we're essential. We're glad to still be out there working, so on the front lines.
Yes.
All right. So as far as challenges, I mean, have you guys, are calls slowing down for you? Is everything kind of staying kind of status quo with business right now?
I would say the service calls are actually kind of ramped up a little bit. They're not really slowing down. It's just it's more of emergency work. People are calling in because they need it done right now. So we're not really scheduling out things, 3 or 4 days. Whenever they call, we try to get to it as soon as possible that day. So it's just a kind of a different type of urgency. They call you up and they might wake up in the morning, like you said, walk downstairs and they step in water. They want it done as soon as possible. So it's not like we can tell them, hey, we can be there tomorrow or whatever. So we just work until everything's done. So if we're out, 10, 11 hours, that's pretty normal right now.
Yeah. All right, Eric.
Well, so we've talked about your 758. We talked a little bit about your Warrior. So how would you say that, your relationship with Spartan Tool has helped you in your business?
Oh, tremendously. Without the, when I bought that 758 years ago, it actually opened up my service to work with other plumbing companies in our area. You know, they would show up to a customer's house and they couldn't get the issue solved, so they would tell them, hey, this All Drains has this special machine. So I would give the customer a call, or they'd call me, and then I'd be the guy showing up with a special machine and be able to take care of their problems. So that's opened it up. We probably service drains for about I'd say 12 other plumbing companies in our area. So that really helps out a lot. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and Eric, I know I
amazing.
touched on it. I touched on it a little bit earlier, but again, I mean, Duane and his company have kind of been at the forefront of, you know, introducing products to this area and to their customers. You know, Duane, I think that's really important, you know, to kind of discuss on here, you know, the ROI, the return on investment on this equipment, you know, because there are a lot of guys out there, especially now, that are afraid to, you know, kind of pull the trigger to get into some equipment, you know, so what would you say to them as far as, you know, making a purchase like something like that and the return on investment?
I would say, you know, if you're in a position like when I bought my first jetter, was like 15, 16 years ago, and it was, you know, around 2007, 2008, everything was kind of dead at that time as well. It just turned everything around for us. I remember being at that show and another local guy seeing that my name was on that van, and he told me that I would never use that. And I told him, well, I don't have a choice now because it's mine. I think I'm going to use it. And that company today sends me Hydra Jet work, so I hear from them. You know, so yeah, it's funny. And you know, I drove that van off the showroom floor that Sunday, and I think that van had like maybe 50,000 miles on it or something. It wasn't much. I drove that van to 325,000 miles.
Oh,
then
wow.
I put the jetter on a trailer and probably dragged it another 100,000 miles. And wore that little. It was just a little trailer. The truck had some issues, and I had to go to work. So I came back to my shop, went and bought a trailer at like Home Depot or somewhere, and drug it out of the van, loaded it on this trailer, and got it working. And the machine's actually in good condition right now. I can use that machine. The trailer's wore out. I can't drag it with the trailer any longer. So I think we're going to buy another van to install that jetter and get it back on out and do some service work with it.
Yeah, and Eric, I thought it was funny. It was before Duane got into the Warrior, you know, he had purchased that Soldier that we had, you know, about 3-4 years ago. We were at the wet show. That was the year we put the nice fancy wheels on it. I don't think Duane and Luke and the rest of his family left our booth. If they did, it was only for about 5 minutes. And he was just all around that. This is my jet. You know, I'm taking this thing home. So
yeah, people were putting their fingerprints all over it.
Yep, definitely one of my good memories from the wet show. So
yeah, I had the right rims on it for that man cave. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. Yeah, I've got a lot of pictures of it sitting out in the middle here.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Hey, so we know that you're using a lot of, you know, the Hydra Jets a daily. So it's got to be probably you're probably your number one tool, it sounds like. But what other tools do you use the most, or what's your go-to?
I would say if I'm not using the Hydra Jetter, I'm using the flex shaft, the K9 102, 204, and I use those every day as well. Just they're actually mounted in the back of my Warrior to the left of that little opening right there.
Right.
So we use those daily. Now we also we use the 300. We use that quite a bit, and the 100. Luke uses that equipment more than I do. His van's set up with so much more equipment than what I have. When I leave, I have 4 different size flex shafts, a video camera, and the jetter. And the calls that I get, I can handle anything with that. Luke's van.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
We just seen a picture that Luke posted the other day. It was what, about a 20-foot root ball that he pulled out. It was
It's amazing.
crazy.
Yeah. He really likes the 300.
Wow. So, well, we know your territory manager's Cameron Weber, and I think most of the people that might be watching this today are pretty familiar with our territory manager, training model and the Spartan Advantage, where it's the at your door service. But something that a lot of people may not be familiar with is our field service technician program, and you've taken advantage of that quite a few times already. So what can you tell people about your experience with the field service technicians?
I tell you, it's amazing. You give Matt a call. He comes out and just does general service work. He's changed the oil on our jetters. He's changed some fittings, some little things that just wasn't quite sealing up right or whatever. Things where I didn't want to have to tear into it and be, some jetter maintenance guy. I just like how the machine performs and works. And if I have any problems at all, you just give Matt a call. He comes out and takes care of it. I mean, even little simple stuff. He fixed the my little flashing beacon light on top, my little emergency light. So yeah, he's a really great guy, good to work with, super knowledgeable when it comes to you can run a little scenario across him over the phone. He'll tell you exactly what it is and why it's doing it. So
awesome. Yeah, we're doing a lot of that right now. Troubleshooting over the phone. So yeah. Mike, what you got?
Yeah, so it looks like we got a question here from Brian. So Duane, knowing what you know now, what do you believe is the most significant obstacle for an individual wanting to start a drain cleaning business?
Obstacle for wanting to start a drain cleaning business. Let's see here. So that's a really good question.
I mean, do you think it's is it more of a marketing thing, Duane? I mean, when you got started, or was it just equipment?
No, I think
having the right tools.
I think the obstacle to get started would be getting over the fear of the failing, on something. So I think if you could just think positive and think forward and just take, step by step on starting a business, especially drain cleaning, you'd want to do a lot of research, and you want to buy the right equipment the first time. You don't want to go out and take too many chances. If you over purchase on things that you're not going to use and it's going to sit in your shop and not make any money for you, that's going to bother you mentally and financially. So I think just do a lot of research. Like right now, knowing what I know right now, I should have bought a Warrior 15 years ago. It's a little more in the initial purchase, but it's so much worth it. The things I do with that machine today compared to how hard, things were to, I would open pretty much anything with the small trailer jetter that I had, but this one right here takes a lot of, having the remote, it just takes a lot of the work out of it to where you're not physically wearing yourself out, running a hose through the line 20 times to pop a hole through it and then get the roots out. So yeah, you definitely want the extra pressure and volume to right off the bat.
Well, again, I mean, I think you hit it, Duane, is the fear factor, right? Again, before, thank God, Spartan Tool came calling, I was kind of at a failing shop that I'd been at for a very long time. I'd had the conversations with my wife. I'd had the conversations, with my mom, with my dad, different family members of, listen, if I'm going to do this, I'm doing it. And then Spartan came calling, so I never got to start my own company. But yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely something that's in the forefront of everybody's mind, is just the fear and the unknowing of what's going to happen. I think if you're going to do this, you just like anything in life, you just got to jump, both feet forward and go at it.
Right. Yeah. And back when I started, my oldest daughter's 20, I think she's 26. So they were still little kids. So I didn't feel like I had a choice to fail. I had to make this work. So I didn't. It really wasn't in my. I didn't worry a whole lot back then. I just kind of just got up and went to work every day. I tried to treat people the way I'd like to be treated. You know, I'd go into somebody's grandmother's house, daughter's house, and I'd want to treat them the way I would hope somebody would treat my family if I wasn't here to help them. You know, so just being honest is a really big part of being able to succeed in a business like this. You know, when you're in front of a customer, you know, you have to be upfront, honest, let them know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it. And, you know, just don't hide anything from them.
Yeah. And Duane, I mean, I think, again, this is one reason why you have definitely kind of blew up on the scene here in the plumbing industry is the fact that, you know, listen, you're a likable guy. I mean, you can tell that right away. You know, you and your family, you know, you guys are just cut from the same cloth as most of us. I mean, you know, just talking to you for a few minutes, I mean, you know, you're that guy that I have to provide for my family. There is no, you know, try, we're going to do it. And that's all there is to it. I mean, that's how I wake up every morning and live my life. I mean, I got, you know, a beautiful wife and two little girls at home. And, you know, that's why we do it, man, you know.
Yeah.
And
I think you got to get up every day and you got to work a plan, you know, and it's, I love Duane's attitude. I think Mike and I share that same mentality. It's that servant selling, if you want to call it that. It's going in and just like you say, leaving someplace better than you found it. And like I say, getting up, working a plan, buying the best tools that you can afford.
Yeah.
Those I think are going to be some of the keys to success. So, hey, we've got Jeremiah Franz up in Columbus, Ohio. Duane has a question for you. Wants to know if you would still recommend a Warrior versus a 38. Maybe he meant a 58, but he says he's doing mainly root removal in 6-inch sewers. Says he's running 8 gallons a minute. And it looks like a 3,000 PSI cart jet as well, but just takes too long on dense roots. What's your thought on the 58 versus a Warrior?
I would, I'd say it's kind of what's in your budget. What are you comfortable with? Like I said, if I would have known what the Warrior's capable of doing back then, I definitely couldn't afford it back then, but I would have tried to. I would have, if I could demo each one of these for a week and then go back, and I would try to do whatever it takes to make it work to buy the Warrior.
Yeah.
Because you're going to work your way up to that anyway. So, you know.
Well, that's a good point, Duane. I mean, we have guys that will get into, you know, a 738. I ran a 738, which is a 2,000 PSI at 12 GPM unit for years. You know, we were doing all the Cincinnati Metropolitan Housing Authorities. We were doing 12-inch main lines. Yeah, it took a little bit longer, but I mean, it did the job. But, you know, a lot of guys will buy an entry-level jet like the 758 I have sitting right here. That's a 3,000 at 12. Guys will kind of get into a 58 and they'll kind of trade their way up, right? You know, 758 and then kind of up to that Warrior, maybe to an Ultimate Warrior. But Jeremiah, as far as, you know, tree roots, you know, to effectively really start cutting tree roots, you need at least 3,000 PSI. And then GPM, I mean, is really important. I think that's one thing that a lot of technicians kind of overlook is, you know, Eric and I get phone calls at least weekly. You know, hey, I need a jet that's 8,000 PSI. What are you doing? You cutting concrete? We don't need that. You know, let's now talk about GPM and flow. So, yeah, I mean, the GPM is definitely important to have that behind. So, yeah, I mean, definitely good words of advice, Duane.
Yeah, and just that the Warthog that you guys provide with your jetters, that's just an amazing tool. That, you know, I don't know what he's using to cut roots with, but you know, definitely want to try one of those as well.
So that's another good point too. I mean, it's just like a drain cleaning machine or a flux shaft machine. I mean, you got to have the right head, the right attachment, you know, to do the work. So,
yeah. And this year we was introduced to the Reaper nozzle, and that's been a really great tool for penetrating roots to get the initial flow. to keep yourself from making a mess if you're in a basement area. You can get that through there fairly quick. And we also use that on descaling and prepping for liners. So yeah, that's definitely want to shop around on the heads as well and the nozzles and get the right one for the right job.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. I mean, 15, 20 years ago, Duane, what do we have as far as tools? I mean, there wasn't much to choose from. Nowadays, even with Spartan, I mean, we're excited when somebody else comes out with the latest, greatest. I mean, we want the industry to evolve. We want to talk with each other. We want to help each other out. But I mean, it's great to see these different tool options that we have now. Tracy Eves, can I finance a Warrior? Absolutely. So we work hand in hand with a finance company called First Lease out of Philadelphia. First Lease has some great programs, some really competitive rates that we've not seen anybody have before. We actually have a deferred payment option with them right now. So, Duane, if I could ask, going back 15 years, if I could have said, Duane, I could get you in this Warrior for, let's just throw a number out there, $700-800 a month, right? That's what, a couple jobs a month. So if you're not at least doing a couple jobs a month, you don't need a Warrior. You don't need a Jet, period. But
exactly.
What if I tell you, Duane, that we can use somebody else's money for 30, 60, 90 days, while you kind of get those jobs up? I mean, again, 15 years ago, I mean, it was unheard of.
Right. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. If you can, anytime you can use somebody else's money to make money, you need to do it. You need to grab hold of that.
Yeah. So
Jeremiah, come back. He's running a General 3080. So yeah, and he says he's worried about the opportunity of outgrowing a 758. I don't know if you ever really outgrow a 758. Your business might outgrow that 758. You got an add a Warrior, but that's what you're in business to grow. So I mean, I don't know that there's always going to be a spot for a 758. And we can talk.
Well, let's look at it. I mean, that's like Duane. I mean, he's still got that one sitting right outside his shop. I mean, there's no reason. We do take trade-ins. We have a very good trade-in program, but we always try to tell guys, keep that Jet. Why not? Number one, you had it paid for, right? So when you add technicians, now you have this Jet you can put in there. So again, I don't think you ever outgrow it. It's just another tool you got in the toolbox.
Right. Yeah. Like I've had several people want to purchase that one off of me, and there's really no reason to get rid of a tool like that when it's paid for. It's been paid for probably 10 years, and it's still, we're going to get that back up in service this summer. So, yeah.
Hey, so we got Eduardo Quintero, the original sewer raider, on here with us. So, Duane, I think you might have been in touch with him on Instagram. He was the one that had the 758 skid mount, and because he's seen your pictures, he just added his onto a utility trailer now.
Okay, awesome.
So, yeah, Eduardo, appreciate it, man. All right, Duane. So, again, I've known you for a while. I've watched your business continuously grow. I know plumbing and hard work has definitely got you there. So any parting words of advice that you can give anybody, wanting to get into the trade, or somebody that's a few years in the trade, still trying to get their bearings together, what kind of advice can you give them?
Just to kind of be patient and just be honest with your customers, and just do a good job. Just be honest. Like I said, leave everything you do better than what you found it. All the little details really make a difference. It's just, and I'm a little OCD when it comes to, getting everything back together. I think everybody that's in this trade has a little bit of that. And yeah, you just want to leave everything. You just want to just treat people the way you want to be treated. If you have a problem, and it's something out of your skill range, and you got to hire somebody to come to your house and do something for you, just treat people the way you want to be treated, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. It's that word of mouth advertising that's going to get you every time.
Oh, every time. Word of mouth is key. We don't do a whole lot of advertising. We have that billboard. We have a small website that I've probably seen it maybe once, but we don't do a lot of advertising. I don't know exactly a whole lot on the. We did phone book ads, for years, and now that it's all switched over to, marketing on the internet, that's kind of out of my skill level. I don't know much about that. But I'm sure it's important, but I'll need help with that eventually.
Definitely good pieces of advice. I mean, that's one thing. We do hear technicians. Eric and I teach this class of 30 techs, and you'll hear some guys, I'm not cleaning this up. I don't get paid to clean this. That's the wrong mentality.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it took. And then we tell them too. At the end of the day, if you don't own your own business and you have to clean your sewer machines and it's on your own time, or clean your van out, Duane, I promise you, I had to clean his truck in all of the greater Cincinnati area every single night. I went home and cleaned the truck out. I made sure the tools were clean. My paper, everything was organized, because you never know who's going to walk in the back of the truck.
Right.
That homeowners come out, but again,
exactly.
it's that mindset, it's that mentality of, I'm mentally prepared for the next day, and perception equals value, right? We have guys on here that have a 1065 that's 60 years old, still running it to this day, and it looks great.
Yeah.
As a homeowner, I mean, look at that shop behind you. I mean, would you want somebody dragging a nasty, dirty sewer machine all over that nice white checkered floor?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
Never coming back to my house again. So,
Right.
Again, guys, it's just little things. I mean,
Right.
Take it from Duane, somebody who's been in business for, going on 25 years now, has grown a very successful business. I mean, again, guys, it's just the small stuff. Everything that he reiterated, the things that we take for granted, are the pieces of advice that he wanted to share with you today. So please don't forget about doing that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's key.
All right. So Duane, before we get you off here and get you back to work, a couple more questions here. Well, without getting too much into it, I definitely don't want to talk pricing. Are you charging per job or per the hour while jetting? I mean, I know that's always a question everybody wants to ask. Do you do just like a flat rate price, or do you do like the first hour and then second hour is a little bit different?
Looks like we
Might have
lost.
lost Duane.
Not sure what happened.
Oh,
Sorry about that, guys.
Well,
I
we'll
don't know
get-
what happened to Duane. We'll have to see if we can
we'll
get him.
we'll get an answer to that. We can get back to people on that one. But well, that segue. Hey, so next week, episode 4, we're going to do a Meet the Team episode. We're going to have Mark Cox from one of our sister companies in the UK, from Rioned, is going to join us, and we're going to talk about van systems. These are, we talked about this a little earlier with Duane. He bought one of the very first ones Spartan ever did. We've done a lot of van systems lately. This is really an up and coming trend in the industry, where guys are buying full dedicated vans and equipping them with a skid mount jetter and all the other bells and whistles, high speed drain cleaning equipment, cameras, locators, cable machines. So we're going to have Mark on. We'll talk about probably rental opportunities, buying opportunities, and we'll answer all your questions as it relates to van packs.
There he is.
There he is. He's
There
back.
we go.
Back.
I don't know what happened.
No worries. Thanks for joining us this week. You just had so much awesome advice for people in the industry, guys that are looking to get started. I know it's going to be really valuable for them.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me.
You guys just made the entire country jealous with that man cave too. So
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tana, special thanks to your wife for holding it down for us.
Oh, here it comes.
There she is.
There she is.
Oh,
Thank you,
we're
Donna.
not on Facebook now, are we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, never mind. Okay. Okay.
we're still on.
All right. What You want me to answer that question?
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, without getting into pricing or anything like that, but a lot of guys will ask, are you charging per job like a flat rate fee for jetting, or are you doing it hourly?
On our commercial and preventive maintenance stuff, it's hourly, like for some of our bigger contact, but the industrial clients, usually when I go into a residential drain cleaning call with my jetter, I'll give them a price up front. It's kind of a flat rate price. I feel like if I can't get their drain open in an hour, then they're going to need something else.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them, look, this is how much it is to get started for the first hour. I'll a lot of times I will include flex shaft and the video inspection all kind of bundled up. That way, when I'm done, this drain's gonna be as clean as it could ever be. It's gonna be, you know, you'll be able to see why they had a problem, whether it's roots, offsets in the clay tile, and then we use the video inspection to also show them that we can do a permanent fix with the lining. So it all kind of works together. And being in the lining business now, I don't think we could do that without the Warrior as well. You got to have a nice jetter to prep those lines.
Right.
Well, again, I mean, I think it's important too. I mean, that's Duane just touched on it. He's got a lot of tools in his arsenal. And the worst thing that we can do as plumbers, service technicians, is just give somebody one option, because now you're backing that person into a corner. We can only do this one thing for you, and it's going to be X, Y, and Z. Duane has the jetter. He's got his high-speed technology. He's got lining. He's got excavation. He might have somebody that does pipe bursting for him. So again, these are all options that we're giving our customers. Duane can walk in and give somebody a list of 5 options to, take care of their problem today, which is great, because then they pick it.
Right.
They have kind of some power at that point too. So yeah, I mean, again, it's just great to have all those tools in your arsenal and be able to offer that. So
Yep.
well, Duane, again, listen, thank you very much. Thank you to Tana as well. Give Luke and the rest of our family our best. And we really appreciate having you guys on here, and hopefully you can get some rest this weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and you guys have a great weekend as well.
Awesome.
All right, buddies.
Thanks.
See you
Duane.
later. Awesome guy.
Oh, good.
All right, Em.
Oh, we lost Emily's.
We lost your audio. Em.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
I'm back. Okay. So we mentioned National Plumbers Day earlier. If you guys have not received the email with that, I'm going to put the URL up on the screen where you can go learn about what we're doing for National Plumbers Day. We're giving the deepest discounts we've ever offered on 4 essential tools to help you get the job done. We've got the 718 cordless handheld cleaner. We've got the M1, Revolution M1 high-speed drain cleaner. We have the trap jumper camera, which is so cool, and the Explorer L200. So you'll definitely want to check that out and see what we've got going on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hey, thanks again, everybody that joined us. Ann Brennan, hey, keep your phone by you. You'll be getting a call from me here shortly. Get you on here. We had some good discussions about the warthog today as well. So everybody loves the warthog. Jeremiah, thank you for the questions today. So he asked, Duane, what lining setup did you choose? I got that information, Jeremiah, so I will send you a private message and go from there. So Eric, anything else from you?
No, I think that's about a wrap.
Em?
Nope, that's it. Happy National Plumbers Day.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, listen, we're looking forward to next week with Mark Cox. He will be joining us live from London. So we're going to get a unique perspective on kind of what's going on across the pond right now. And it's always good to kind of listen to people that are abroad and kind of compare what they're doing and what we're doing right now. So again, thank you to Duane and Tana. Great people. Again, I've had the pleasure of knowing them for a while. Again, you just don't find better people like that. So with that, everybody, I hope you have a nice, relaxing weekend. Please continue to stay safe. Please continue to practice social distancing. Again, assume that everybody has the virus. We want this over just as bad as you do. So with that, have a happy National Plumbers Day tomorrow. Sewer Raiders, signing off.
See you guys.
Bye.